Dear students, welcome and thank you for tuning in. We are continuing our discussion about prototyping as part of the product design development course. We're going to get to know the different types of prototypes from different aspects. And one of those aspects is identifying prototypes as physical versus analytical. Physical prototypes means that we are building an approximation of the product, tangible approximation of the product. It's often best used for communications. Examples of physical prototypes could be models that look and feel like the product. Also, proof of concept prototypes used to test an idea quickly. And here we may exhibit unmodeled behaviors, something that was not anticipated or been designed. So it can be just testing an idea quickly, and that could we add this to the product? Could we address this need that has not been identified before? And that's why we are building these physical prototypes. Also, experimental hardware used to validate the functionality of the product. And some of those examples could be shown here in these images. So this is the PackBot project, which is a drone used to go into dangerous zones and areas to perform multiple tasks. And it has been used in multiple or many places where you have a disaster and you don't want to risk sending people there. So this is here in this image. This is a lookalike prototype. This is a physical prototype. The one to the right here, this is a wheel of the prototype that is exposed to loading. So one of the important things about prototypes, you don't have to have a complete product, a comprehensive product. You can have a part of the product, and we can call this actually a prototype. So this is a part of the product, which is a prototype of the wheel that has been exposed to loads for testing. And also you can have a comprehensive, complete system that can be used for testing. Like here we are using the PackBot, complete system in a sand test. So all of these considered physical prototypes. The other type is analytical prototypes. And in those analytical those are non-tangible basically they are mathematical models of the product. And we are going to focus more on those for your projects. So you would be asked to create an analytical prototype. So for those prototypes, aspects are analyzed rather than built, actually, and it's very important to identify a lot of behavioral parameters. So examples of analytical prototypes: computer simulation, system of occasions. So you can describe a system, you can describe a product using multiple occasions that are working together and that can be solved simultaneously. They could be ordinary differential equations or partial differential equations, depending on what the system is doing and how we are building it. Also, you can consider computer models of three-dimensional geometry using rendering as also prototypes. So often they allow more experimental freedom than physical models, because you don't have to physically build the model and you spend a lot of money on the parts. And if there is any experiment that requires damage, that will cost a lot of money. So they give us a lot of freedom. And some of the examples of those prototypes could be, again, using the PackBot project, you can have a three-dimensional CAD rendering like this one here. You can use SolidWorks. You can use multiple softwares to create these renders. And you can also have finite element analysis. Let's say, for example, of the wheel geometry here. It might not be clear, but you can have this geometry and you can expose it to load, and you can measure the stresses and strains, and you have the distribution of stresses and strains when it's exposed to load. So it's non-destructive testing because you don't have to build it, and that's a very important way of building prototypes. And also the last one is dynamic simulation models, like the one here. And in dynamic simulation models, you build a set of equations that describe your model. Depending on the the physics laws and the mathematics that relates the interaction and relationship between the different parts of your product. So you build your set of equations and then you put it in there are multiple or different softwares that you can use to solve these systems of equations. So if you have one equation, we call it an equation. If you have multiple equations that they have to be solved simultaneously, we call it a system of equations, two or more. So let's use a computer program and it's that models the time varying behavior of the system. And that's what we mean by solving the equations, the system of equations that describe that model. I would imagine that for your projects, you will be focusing more into creating, sorry, this is wrong. It's not physical. It is analytical. So that needs to be modified. Analytical, right. So that's correct. So it's analytical prototypes. And those are the types of prototypes that we would like to focus on for your project. Thank you for watching. Until the next video. Bye.